Well, at my studio, I teach several art forms. I teach WuShu, Chen Tai Chi, Young Style Tai Chi, Filipino Eskrima, also known as Kali, and I also teach Kajukembo. So with a lot of those arts mixed together, people tend to ask me, well, what's the difference? Isn't all martial arts the same? And I say, yes, in a way, all martial arts are the same, but what makes them different is what makes it an art, okay? So let's take WuShu, for example, okay? Many people ask me, what's the difference between WuShu and Kung Fu? Anything that you're good at, anything that you have skill at is a form of Kung Fu, because Kung Fu doesn't mean martial arts. I asked the child this the other day. I said, what does Kung Fu mean? And he said, it means kick and punch. And I said, no, it doesn't. It means hard work or a skill gained through effort or something that you get good at through time. Anything that you're good at. So I told him, if you're good at soccer, that's your Kung Fu. And he said, oh, so this is one way, the kicking and the punching and the self-defense, that's just a way of getting good at that. That's Kung Fu, the work. And I said, yeah. And then he understood. Okay, Kung Fu is the philosophy behind WuShu. I'm a big fan of the martial arts, and I'm kind of, as you would say, addicted to the practice of any martial art. I love to research all sorts of different martial arts, fighting systems, and how they all tie together into what I already know. So I think that for any good martial artist to be good, you have to, in a sense, be a mixed martial artist. Like now, you've got a lot of people that are learning mixed martial arts, but a lot of people define that as only boxing, Muay Thai, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, all mixed together. And I disagree. I would describe myself as a mixed martial artist, but I prefer to keep the philosophies behind them rather than saying, oh, well, I do mixed martial arts and you have to have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in it. There's nothing wrong with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you know, if you define the art solely by that and you don't put yourself into the art, then you're really not a mixed martial artist. So that's how I would describe myself. I was around a brown belt level in my karate studies when I realized that martial arts was what I wanted to do. I knew it was going to be a lifelong hobby, and at the time I was only 15 years old. I didn't think in terms of, oh, I want to have my own studio, I want to, you know, make money out of this and grow rich from it. Instead, I knew it was something that I wanted to do, and that's when I said, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, no matter what. However, when I got my black belt and I started to teach, I realized that helping smaller children understand the martial arts and the expressions that the kids would have when they understood something, that's when I realized this is what I want to do. This is what I want to have one day. I want my own school, my own students, and I want to help people of all ages. What I find challenging about martial arts, I would say that it's always changing. Martial arts is always changing. That's, you know, that's where MMA comes from, right? You know, you have classical Kung Fu, you have classical arts, you've got modern arts, and I feel that if you're not evolving, you're not growing, right? What's that? There's a quote, and I forgot who to attribute the quote to, but it says, when you're green, you're growing. When you're ripe, you rot. So you always have to keep evolving, you always have to keep changing and learning new things and applying it to what you have. And when other people do that and bring it to the forefront of martial arts, you kind of have to stay on top of that. You know, that's why MMA is the way it is right now. That's why modern WuShu is the way it is right now. And those sports, in comparison to 20 years ago, are completely different. The MMA that we started seeing about 20 years ago is completely different now. So I look at martial arts when I practice on my own, I feel like I have to teach myself. I have to look at myself in the mirror and go, what can I do different today to make me better than yesterday? And also look forward to tomorrow. How do I want to look tomorrow? How do I want to be tomorrow? And that's the sense of accomplishment. It's always that challenge, always that brass ring that you're reaching for, so to speak. That's the satisfaction that I get, always being able to reach it. It's not quite there, but the journey to grab that ring. When people say to me, oh, well, martial arts teaches violence. I'll have to say, no, it doesn't. Not if you're learning the art. The whole art will make you a better person inside and out. But if all you practice is the fighting, then it's all violence. Because of the fact that you have to learn patience, perseverance, getting past the pain, learning about disappointment, learning about failure, that is the art. That's not violence. It makes you a better person.
Vous devez être fou, fatigué de vivre. Non, ou bien tous ensemble. Je vais vous donner une leçon sous sale.